7:30, we'll call the meeting to order. If you'll join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please. Uh-oh, Noble's here.
Doug's here.
Yeah.
There it is, too.
Is this going to be a problem if we... No, we'll just wait for
He's
him.
coming.
Thank you. All present and accounted for. At this time, we'll open it up to citizens' comments. Anybody wishing to speak? Citizens' comments. Anybody wishing to speak? Anybody wishing to speak? Seeing nobody, citizens' comments are closed. Announcements of the chair, I have none at this point. Supervisors' reports. Any supervisors' reports? Supervisor Alverman.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I couldn't remember how to have myself, I just push yes, don't I?
I don't know. What does he push if he wants to speak?
Same on the remote control. No, I take that back. There's the button on your front of your microphone.
If you want to speak, you push the button.
Yeah, the button on the mic.
Okay. So I'm on anyway, right?
You are on. You're up.
This is a short report.
Yeah.
Last night we had our first Highway Parks Facilities Golf meeting. A couple of the items we went through, not everything, but we reviewed and approved the 2013 park rates, which have very little change, if any. We did raise a couple of the shelter rates because they're larger shelters, but very minor changes. You may have read in the paper today that we approved our people to apply for a grant. That's going to be coming to the county board at our next meeting for funding to develop a plan to deal with the emerald ash borer on county property. It wouldn't just be the parks, but all county properties. In order to be eligible for the grants from the state, we have to have a plan in place. It's a 50-50 match from the state, $12,500 from the Park Development Fund, $12,500 from the state. Also coming to the county board on our finance first is a problem we have at the Brightondale Golf Course with a furnace. There's two furnaces on the property. One is faulty in need of repair, so we have a $13,000 moving around of funds to repair that furnace for the spring season. Right now we can keep the building at about 50 degrees, and there's only one person working in there, and he's fine, there's no danger, but it's something that we have to address. We have nothing final as far as an audit on golf operations. That comes in the next couple months, really, when they have all the final costs. But one thing I can report is that total rounds last year were up almost 11,000, and we all know that we had fantastic weather. That has a lot to do with that, and that's over 11%. And our revenue was up around $370,000 or 13%. Again, these aren't final numbers, but they're good numbers. And we'll know a whole lot more here when we get all the expenses in. The golf operation last year did benefit from not only cutting a major amount of expenses and really watching costs, but again, the very good weather that we had. That's my report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Supervisor Elverman. I do have one question for you. On that, that study, is there any timeline before we have to go out and find that specialist to do that report? I mean, is there a window on the grants or anything like that?
No, in fact, the DNR already informed us that we have the grant. They're waiting for our application. And then we would do it right away because it is in our area. Emerald ash borer has decimated all the eastern states. It's now up to Wisconsin and Illinois. We quit planting ash in my business about 5 years ago. It is controllable. It wasn't in the eastern states. There are some things to combat it now. I believe, as Joe said in the paper yesterday, we just took a brief summary of Fox River Park alone, and 50% of our foliage there is ash. So on county property and on properties throughout the state, they figure the state of Wisconsin, about 22% of the foliage is ash. One thing I forgot to mention, Mr. Chairman, is the 60th Street Tower. I know I've reported on that throughout the last couple of months. We are still on hold on that with the city administrator. We do have written and verbal approval from the DNR to proceed, but the city administrator is not in agreement until he gets from the federal government. So we have what we have is a 28-day curing needed on the cement once we do get the go-ahead. We do have the ground covered and protected to keep the frost out, but the way it looks right now, we're going to lose the winter here for sure, and just have to hope for good weather, and there won't be any big hurry in the spring because the icing season will be over. But it looks now that we've had the tower company on standby 4 different times, and they were ready to come in this week, but now we're just going to have to put it off. But that's where that stands.
Thank you, Supervisor Elverman. Supervisor Brunig.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to let everyone know that Extension Education is now taking nominations for the next round of Youth and Governance. Nominations can be made by anyone if they want to submit the person's name and address to Extension Education by February 8th. PDEC will be fully paperless by February. The department has been trained to download all agenda items onto the new website for viewing. And I have been completely paperless on the executive committee and the county board for a few months now. Anyone wishing to go paperless at this time should contact either the clerk's office to have Edie send your packet paperless, or to contact the admin of their particular committee so that they can start working on that too. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Brunig. Any other supervisor reports? Seeing none, we'll move on with the agenda.
County Executive Appointments, Thomas A. Frederickson to serve on the Kenosha County Veterans Service Commission.
Refer to the Human Services Committee.
Ellen Kupfer to serve on the Kenosha County Library System Board.
Refer to Finance and Administration Committee.
Kathy Zamazal to serve on the Kenosha Library System Board.
Refer to the Finance and Administration Committee.
Douglas Bartz to serve on the Kenosha County Workforce Development Board.
Refer to the Human Services Committee.
New business, ordinance 1 reading, 21, from Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee regarding proposed comprehensive plan amendment, George R. and Diane R. Propek, request an amendment to the adopted land use plan map for Kenosha County 2035, map 65 of the comprehensive plan, from general agricultural and open land to rural density residential located in the town of Salem. Submitted by Brunig, yes. Decker, yes. Underhill, yes. Dodge, yes. Skalitsky, yes.
Supervisor Brunig.
Move ordinance number 21.
It's been moved by Supervisor Brunig. Ordinance 21, seconded by Supervisor Decker. Supervisor Brunig.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This property is located on the southeast corner of 122nd Street and 280th Avenue. The comprehensive plan amendment will allow a revision of map 65 from general agriculture and open land to rural density residential on part of the tax parcel. The town of Salem recommended approval of the request.
Any questions or comments on that? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Ordinance number 21 is passed.
Ordinance 22 from Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee regarding Mill Creek Villas Condominium Association, CO, care of real estate specialist owner, Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee sponsor, request a rezoning from A1 Agricultural Preservation District to R9 Multifamily Residential District located in the town of Salem. Brunig, yes. Decker, yes. Underhill, yes. Dodge, yes. Skalitsky, yes.
Supervisor Brunig.
Move ordinance number 22.
It's been moved by Supervisor Brunig to pass ordinance number 22, seconded by Supervisor Underhill. Supervisor Brunig?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This property is located on the north and south side of 87th Street, approximately 0.1 mile west of the State Trunk Highway 83, which is Antioch Road. The rezoning is a map correction to reflect a multifamily development approval taken by the Village of Paddock Lake in 2002 when they had extraterritorial zoning jurisdiction. The town of Salem recommended approval of this request.
Thank you, Supervisor Brunig. Any questions or concerns on that ordinance? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Ordinance 22 is passed.
Ordinance 23 from Planning, Development, Extension Education Committee regarding Robert M. Kenner, revocable trust owner, Kent DeRue, A. Perry Designs and Builds agent, request a rezoning from B1 Neighborhood Business District to R3 Urban Single Family Residential District located in the town of Randall. Brunig, yes. Decker, yes. Underhill, yes. Dodge, yes. Skalitsky, yes.
Supervisor Brunig?
Move ordinance number 23.
It's been moved by Supervisor Brunig, seconded by Supervisor Dodge to approve ordinance 23. Supervisor Brunig.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This property is located on the south side of 93rd Street, approximately 500 feet west of 406th Avenue. The rezoning will allow a conforming residential replacement of a non-conforming residence that was recently raised due to deterioration. The town of Salem recommended approval of the request.
Thank you, Supervisor Brunig. Seeing no lights to speak, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Ordinance 23 is passed.
Ordinance 24 from Planning, Development, Extension Education Committee regarding George R. and Diane R. Propek owner, request a rezoning from A2 General Agricultural District and C1 Lowland Resource Conservancy District to R1 Rural Residential District, A2 General Agricultural District, and C1 Lowland Resource Conservancy District located in the town of Salem. Brunig, yes. Decker, yes. Underhill, yes. Dodge, yes. Skalitsky, yes.
Supervisor Brunig.
Move ordinance number 24.
It's been moved by Supervisor Brunig, seconded by Supervisor Skalitsky to approve ordinance 24. Supervisor Brunig.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This rezoning is in conjunction with the comprehensive plan amendment documents presented previously. The rezoning will allow the property to be subdivided, taking into account the natural features of the property, including a stream, wetlands, and floodplain. The town of Salem recommended approval of the request.
Thank you, Supervisor Brunig. Seeing no lights, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Ordinance 24 is passed.
Resolution 70 from Supervisor Boyd Frederick, a resolution to request no decrease in state shared revenues to counties, submitted by Supervisor Frederick and Supervisor Hallman.
Thank you. At this point, Supervisor Frederick approached me on this, and because of the time constraints on what he's trying to do, getting this up there prior to them moving forward with the budget, I agreed to put it on the agenda to see if the board would agree to suspend the rules rather than sending it on to a committee, which would delay it past the time it would be useful. So at this point, if I could have a motion to suspend the rules, if that's your pleasure. It's been moved by Supervisor Johnson, seconded by Supervisor Nudo to suspend the rules. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Supervisor Frederick. No, you want to make the motion first. Okay, it's been moved by Supervisor Frederick, seconded by Supervisor Anita Johnson. Supervisor Boyd Frederick. Okay, hold on, just hold on. All right, we're good.
Okay.
Supervisor Frederick.
Thanks. What this does is it at least tells our legislators to think of us when it comes to the state budget, that when it comes to cutting shared revenues, and when it comes to that, then we have all these unfunded mandates that come from Madison, that they're starting to cut off the money, which will make it much harder on the counties in order to budget in the fall, and or actually over the next 2 years. So with this resolution, it's asking them also not to take a look at the shared revenue, but also all the unfunded mandates that come to us, and not to add any more burdens to the county.
Thank you, Supervisor Frederick. Any questions or concerns on that, comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That resolution is passed. We'll send that on.
Resolution 71 from Public Works Facilities, a resolution to repair the County Trunk Highway S rail highway crossing with the tracks of the Union Pacific Railroad in the town of Summers. Alverman, yes. Noble, yes. Dodge, yes. Nudo, yes. Skalitsky, yes.
Supervisor Alverman.
Move Resolution 71.
It's been moved by Supervisor Alverman, seconded by Supervisor Noble to approve Resolution 71. Supervisor Alverman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. From time to time, we have a resolution like this. The railroad companies, as it states, are required to keep the crossings in repair. They've known about this one for quite some time, and generally, when they do not act within a sufficient amount of time, Mr. Sipsma puts a resolution like this together. What happens here is it goes to the railroad commissioner in the state of Wisconsin, and then he orders them to act in a proper amount of time. We've been waiting on this one way beyond the time limit that normally they should have acted, so this is the beef that we have to put behind it. Pass this resolution, it goes to the railroad company, goes to the railroad commissioner, he orders them to begin the repairs. So we need your approval on this evening.
Thank you, Supervisor Alverman. Seeing no lights, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That resolution is passed.
Resolution 72 from Planning Development and Extension Education Committee regarding request to approve the appointment of Lieutenant Edward Van Tyne to serve on the Kenosha County Land Information Council. Brunig, yes. Decker, yes. Underhill, yes. Dodge, yes. Skalitsky, yes.
Supervisor Brunig.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If it is okay with the board, I'd like to combine Resolution 72 and 73.
Anybody have a problem with that? Okay, go ahead, read 73.
Resolution 73 from Planning Development and Extension Education Committee regarding request to approve the appointment of Supervisor John O'Day to serve on the Kenosha County Land Information Council. Brunig, yes. Decker, yes. Underhill, yes. Dodge, yes. Skalitsky, yes.
Supervisor Brunig.
Move Resolution 72 and 73.
It's been moved by Supervisor Brunig, seconded by Supervisor Dodge to approve Resolution 72 and 73. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Those resolutions are passed.
Resolution 74 from Planning Development and Extension Education Committee regarding proposed comprehensive plan amendment. George R. and Diane R. Propek owner request an amendment to the adopted land use plan map for Kenosha County 2035, map 65 of the comprehensive plan, from general agricultural and open land to rural density residential located in the town of Salem. Brunig, yes. Decker, yes. Underhill, yes. Dodge, yes. Skalitsky, yes.
Supervisor Brunig.
Move Resolution 74.
It's been moved by Supervisor Brunig, seconded by Supervisor Decker to approve Resolution 74. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That resolution is passed.
Claims, Vitus Genelis, cracked windshield.
We'll refer that to Corporation Council.
Approval of the December 4th, 2012 minutes by Supervisor Dodge.
Supervisor Dodge. It's been moved by Supervisor Dodge to approve the minutes, seconded by Supervisor Esposito. All those in favor? Aye. It's been moved by Supervisor Kubicki, seconded by Supervisor Nudo to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
I had a